Hello, sweethearts. Dr. May is here. Today we're solving May-June 2025, paper 2, variant 2. But before starting, I want to thank each one of you for the love, for the support, for everything, for the sweet messages that's been DM'd to me through my social media. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, and I hope I make your journey a little easier with this subject. It's an easy subject, but I know you need the support and you need more solving. And that's exactly what I will be focusing on this period. I'll be solving more of paper 2 since that's the highly requested video. So yeah, let's get started. It starts by a map. And let me tell you that this map is very, very important and we have to know this map. Now I got an easy way to learn this. So let's see how we're gonna learn it. Let's start by Africa. Africa is very known and it's very easy. I'm gonna tell you how, but let me just choose another color. Okay, you got Africa, you're gonna know Africa from the Nile River. Ew, that's ugly. I don't know which color should I choose. I want something that's poppy, but at the same time not ugly. Let's try pink. Yeah, pink works. Anyways, we're gonna know Africa from the Nile River. You're gonna find this Nile River, okay? So you know that this is Africa, okay? So annotate Africa, and then A holds A. What do I mean by that? A for Africa holds A for Asia. So they hold together, okay? And the one above them here, it's Europe. So we got Africa, Asia, and then right here, it's Europe. Okay, again, you're gonna know Africa from the Nile River. You're gonna annotate Africa, and then you know that Africa holds another A, which is Asia. Okay, so it's Africa and Asia, and right above them, it's Europe. Okay, okay. Next, it's very easy to learn that America is on the left. America is on the left side, okay? We got North America since it's at the top, and then South America since it's at the bottom, okay? So far, we got Africa holding Asia in its hands, and then right above it is Europe, and then on the left side of the map, you're gonna find the America. North America since at the top, and South America since it's at the bottom. And then the lonely one out there is Australia or Oceania. You have to know both names, okay? Okay. That was for the continents. Now let's take a look at the oceans because you need to know that too. So, right and left, you got Pacific, okay? Right, left, it's Pacific. Right next to Africa and America, you see a lot of A's, okay? You see a lot of A's. That's gonna be Atlantic, okay? You see a lot of A's here. That's America, A for America, and A for America, and A for Africa. That's Atlantic. And then right here, it's gonna be India under Asia, okay? Remember, like, the Asians, they got India in them. And right below Asia is Indian, the important ones. Pacific, right and left. And then we got a lot of A's, America, America, and Africa. So that's going to be Atlantic. And right below Asia, it's India. Okay, and you got another one, but you don't need to know this one too much. So it's okay if you skip it. Okay? Again, because I want you to leave the session and you have already learned the map by heart. Now again, how do we start annotating? Let's annotate it together. Okay, you're gonna get the map like this. How to annotate? We start by knowing where is the Nile River. This is the Nile River, okay? So it's gonna be Africa. Now you know that A holds A, okay? That's gonna be Asia. Right above Africa, you got Europe. Now we got 3 continents. Very good. Now on the left, that's America. North America, since it's at the top, and then below it's South America, since it's at the bottom. And the lunar here, that's Australia or Oceania. Okay, that was very good. Next we got the oceans. You have to know right and left, that's Pacific. Pacific and Pacific. Very good. I hope you're answering with me. Then we got a lot of A's, remember? America, and Africa. That's going to give you another A, which is Atlantic. Then, right below Asia, that's going to be the Indian Ocean. Okay? I hope you know it. Now, if they asked you or if they got you a map just like this one and they told you, describe, for instance, the oil rigs that's present. Okay? You're going to use these annotations. The map might not be given annotated, but that's okay. You have learned this by heart by now, I hope. So you're going to use your knowledge in plotting the map. Okay? Okay. So the map is talking about Italy, and they give us the map of Italy, showing us the major town, the port, the major road, and the mount, whatever. Okay? Don't forget to read this page. Sometimes they get some questions from them. We got an area, the population, the children per woman, life expectancy, the currency, the language. What do I need from this page? This part. I need you to know this part, okay? The climate, it's long, hot summers, meaning that there will be evaporation of water, okay? The terrain is mountainous, volcanic rock, the highest peak, whatever. And the main economic activities that they rely on to get their money: tourism, wheat, olive oil, citrus fruit, and wine production. Ischia is an Italian island that's 30 kilometers from the mainland of Italy. Italy is a member of the European Union, so it's at Europe. It's in Europe right here. So now that we annotated, we know exactly where Europe is. That's good. Tourism is the main industry in Ischia. Unemployment is high, and many local people are unable to afford accommodation on the island. There are some illegal constructed buildings. Okay, let me tell you how these illegal buildings are. That you have to know that they are built off. They're poor, okay? They're illegal, so they don't have the good equipment or building materials such as better concrete or building blocks or whatever they might use in building the buildings. Okay, so a word to describe this is called shanty building. Shanty building is when they use woods or very simple constructive materials, so they can just build and construct their buildings, so they can just live occasionally at that moment. They don't really care, or they don't have the facilities to make better buildings. And these buildings are just 1 or 2 levels, or like 1 or 2 stories. They're small, okay? They're not a tall building or towering. No, they don't get apartments in them. It's just 2 levels, okay? Okay. Ischia is a densely populated island. Calculate the number of people per kilometer square in Ischia. That means we're going to get the population number divided by the area. So the area here was 46 and the population here was 62,000, which is why I told you earlier to make sure that you pay attention to this page, because this page carries a lot of hints and this page is very valuable, okay? Don't forget it. Forio is a town on Ischia. The table shows the number of females in different age groups. They're declining. we see that as the age increases, the number of females decline, or they decrease as well. Now complete the population pyramid. Here, this is a very easy question, okay? What you need to do is pay attention to their boxes. Like here, they used 3 boxes, okay, as you can see here. You're going to use that exact same thing. So you're going to 1, 2, 3, and then plot it, okay? Everything is given. All you have to do is just plot these ones, okay? I plotted this to just give you an example. Determine the total number of people over 90 years old in 4U. Now, they mentioned people. They didn't just mention males or females. They want both, okay? So we're going to take the males and the females, or the females and the males, whatever. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to come here. You're going to find that this is 40, okay? And this part, it's 100. So you're going to add them together. That's going to give you 140. The population in 4U in 2011 was 16,597. This increased to 17 blah 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 in 2023. Now calculate the percentage increase. Guys, they mentioned the percentage increase, okay? That's going to be the new value minus old value over old value, or the final minus initial value over the initial value, okay? If they asked you just for the percentage, okay, like percentage of 4U or whatever, you're going to take the total population over the current population multiplied by 100. You don't have to find this difference, okay? This is a very common mistake. I don't want you to fall into it, okay? But for now, they're asking us for the percentage increase. They want the percentage difference. So you're going to find, you're going to put the final minus the initial over the initial, okay? It's going to give you 4.5%. The population data was collected using a questionnaire. The questionnaire was sent to every home on Ischia. The questionnaire is very important, okay? Because it allows you to get a representative data. So it allows you to survey everything. Now you got another questionnaire or a survey, and that's very important. They can ask you, this question came before, but it's not frequent, so you have to know it. It's called the pilot survey. What do you mean by that? That's a trial survey, okay? So that's a trial survey. They do it before the main survey, or before they hand out the main questions, their questionnaire. And this is just a test, to test the questions, if they're easy to understand, if they are short questions, what they're going to expect. Everyone is going to answer the questions, or aren't people going to answer? How many? Where exactly? And everything. All the answers they will need will be from this survey, okay? So that when they hand out the real survey that they're going to include in their investigation, they can be more accurate and perfect, okay? Explain why a pilot survey is used before the main questionnaire is sent. I did not realize that I was explaining this one. So yeah, guys, pilot survey are there to improve the questions, the feedback, to know exactly what to expect. It shows how long the questionnaire takes, whether it's just a few questions, or like, are we talking about 10 questions, or we're talking about 50 questions, okay? And also they are, it's a test, or the questions, they are handed out to smaller sample, like 100 people, or like, let's say 20 people, okay? They hand it out to 20 people to check out what is going on, and if everyone is going to understand the questions as they want, or as intended or not. Okay, so just 3 limitations of using a questionnaire to collect data. It's expensive, it can be lost, people might be uneducated, okay? If it's asked in another language, they can't understand. If it's Italian, for instance, and they are foreign people or refugees or something, they will not understand the language, okay? It's time consuming, Big data, it relies on people returning the survey, and not everyone returns survey. I am one of the people that when I get a survey, I don't really fill it. So that's a thing, okay? Next question. It talks about lemons. So lemons from Ischia are included in the mass of lemons sold to other countries by European. If you remember in the question, they told you they sell citrus fruits. Okay, lemon is citrus. The graph shows the mass of lemons sold to other countries by European Union each month. The crosses here shows that it's 2020, the circle is 21, and the triangle is 22. Before starting, I like to take a moment to observe the graph at hand, okay? You see that in you see that it's in 2020 it's increasing and then it decreases. Okay, we're talking about the crosses, eye on the cross, and it increases again. Okay, let me highlight it. It's this one. Okay. Now, as you can see, 2020 is the highest one. Okay, it's the highest among the three of them. It has the highest peak. That's what I mean. So that's exactly what it's asking. Circle the year with the greatest mass of lemons. Okay, that's gonna be the greatest mass was hit in 2020, and then it declined as we go on. Name the month in 2020 with the greatest mass of lemons. 2020 was the circle, so you're going to find this one, the peak. Okay, so it peaks over here. And then, but please compare this peak to this peak, okay? Because sometimes the other one is the correct answer. So compare them. Draw a line here like this to verify, and then draw a line like this to verify too. You're gonna find that this one is higher, so you're on the safe side, right marsh. Next one. A farmer grows lemon trees in a field in Ischia. For maximum growth, the trees in each row must be 4 meters apart, and each row of trees must be 5 meters apart. So, what do they mean? Let me draw. This is the tree. Let me just draw a tree. This is the tree, okay? So they want, what is this? Anyways, this is a tree, okay? So they have distance of 4 meters between each other, okay? And then that's the first row. The second row, which is here, let's draw it this tree. Okay, the second tree is like this. Now they're telling you that the distance between this and this tree, or this row, the first row and the second row, is 5 meters apart. Okay, this is what they mean. So between a tree and a tree, that's gonna be 4 meters. Okay? And that's the point if you got confused. Now, that's not the point, okay? The point is why the trees should not be closer together. Of course, when something is too close together, they compete, especially if we're talking about trees. Trees are huge, they're big, they need space to grow, okay? Their branches are going to branch out and the leaves are going to spread out, and they need all the sunlight, they need everything, as well as the roots. Over here, you know, the roots are very tortuous, or they go on large scale, okay? So they need an area to grow in, and they need to absorb water. They need to absorb water and nutrients, okay? So that's one. And the other part is for the leaves. The leaves need to spread out so they can photosynthesize and absorb the sunlight. And that's to avoid the competition on resources such as nutrients, water, light, to prevent diseases. If one caught a disease, the others don't get it soon, and the machines can move between them for harvesting, for sprinkling water, for sprinkling fertilizers, whatever reason they get, the machines can move here. Okay, that's a machine. Let's make it green. I like how I drew. Guys, these drawings will help you in the exam. Okay, if you're into doodling, this is good. This is gonna aid you in writing the exam. But if you don't have time, which is mostly the case, then you can skip that part. A farmer in Ischia investigates the best fertilizer to use on lemon trees. The diagram shows the lemon trees in the field. Now the lemon tree is the circle one, and then they show you the sample tree. Now they're asking us to complete this. The farmer selects every second tree. What the farmer is doing is that he skipped one and hopping on to the next. We're skipping one and hopping on to the next. Okay? Every second tree. This is the first tree, this is the second tree. Okay? And it keeps this up. That's exactly what we're going to do. We skip this one and we choose the other one. We skip the first one, choose the second one. Skip the first one, choose the second one. Skip the first one, choose the second one. Like that. Okay? That is how we are going to answer this question. This made a lot of confusion. I have no idea why. No idea why. So, even if you didn't do it this way, which I did it this way, by the way. I went like this. Let me show you. I skipped this one and circled this, and skipped this one and circled this, and then skipped, then circle. Okay, and then I went like this. Skip this one, then circle. Skip this one and circle. Okay, and again, like this. I skipped this and circle. You can go this way, or you can just, the rows are made of the same number of trees. There are 6 trees anywhere. So you're just going to follow the same first row. You're going to skip this, circle, skip this, circle, skip this, circle. Then copy first row again. Skip this, circle, skip this, circle, skip this, circle. Okay? What is this called? Every other tree. This is systematic. Okay? The other one, if they did not do this, I'm going to show you an example. Okay, the laser. Okay, this one. For instance, if you take this one, if you take this one, if you take this one, if you take this one. Okay, this is random. Why? Because you do not see a pattern. Okay, there's no pattern in here. So this is called a random sampling. And random sampling is very good because it avoids bias. There is no bias. Determine the total number of trees the farmer samples in the field using this method. The total number of trees sampled, we're going to count this column and this column along with this one. So 3 columns. We're going to multiply them by 5. Okay, that's going to give you 15. Okay, so there are 3 columns. Multiply them by 5, the number of trees in a column, that's going to give you 15. Or you can simply count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Next question. The farmer investigates the effect of 4 different fertilizers on the annual yield of lemons. Each fertilizers contain nitrate, phosphate, and potassium, the NPK. Okay? In different concentrations. The fertilizers are added at the start of each year. The table shows the fertilizers used in each tree row. The concentration here, it's divided by arbitrary units. The units are written. As you can see in this table, the unit is written in the heading. Do not write it here. Do not write it in the contents of the table. That's not accepted. The tree row, we got the 5 trees. Okay. First one, no fertilizers used. Why? Because that's going to be the control. Why? Because this is the group we're going to compare each tree row to it. Okay, we're going to compare 2 to 1, and 3 to 1, and 4 to 1, and 5 to 1. Row 1 got no fertilizers, and row 5 got the highest one. Let's see how did that reflect on their annual yield. Okay, they tested that for 3 years. Okay, they find that 5 in the first year gave the least production. Okay, and it declined in 3 years. Okay, and then you're going to just check out which one was the best. You're going to find that 4 was the best one. Okay, that was 6 here, 6 here, and 6 here. Explain why fertilizer was not used in row 1. That's control. Suggest one reason why the yield for tree 1 decreased from year 1 to 3. Because obviously there are no fertilizers. So if there's no fertilizer, there will be lack of nutrients. They cannot grow, or the production will decrease. Write a different conclusion for each of these 3 rows. You find in tree 4, or the row 4, you find an overall increase, which is this one. Okay, the one I circled. And then you're going to see in 5 that it declined, even though they had the highest amount of fertilizers or concentration of the 3 elements. Okay, you're going to find that in row 5 overall decreased, and then in row 2 a decrease happened as well. Okay, and you have to mention the data or comparative data. Okay, next one is showing you a lemon, skin and flesh. This reminded me of my biology trauma of paper 6, where you have to draw the lemon and everything. I hope you guys got a good grade in it, and I hope you pass if you haven't sat for the exam yet. Anyways, the photograph shows a lemon. The farmer wants lemon with a large mass of flesh and a thin skin. Name the measuring instrument used to record the mass. It's a balance. Okay? Draw a suitable table the farmer can use to record the mass of the lemon and the thickness of the lemon skin. And that's how I did it. You have to put the mass, okay, and the thickness of the lemon. And as you can see here, the units and the heading. You don't have to fill the data since there's no data given, but if they gave you like a sheet or something and they gave you all the data here, then you will have to fill your table. Okay, but since we don't have that, then we don't have to fill the table. Okay, describe how selective breeding can be used to obtain the lemons the farmer wants. Briefly, selective breeding, it's where you choose the best, okay, and breed them together. They mate them together and then mate the offsprings, okay? So you keep on mating them or breeding them over many generations, okay? So you select parents with desirable characteristics, you breed them together, you choose the best offsprings with desired characteristics, and then you breed them together and you repeat this over many generations so that you can get your desired lemon or desired characteristics of lemon or whatever if we're talking about. Say 2 techniques to increase the yield of lemons other than fertilizer use and selective breeding. In this question, I would definitely go for genetic modification, okay, because it's the easiest and you adjust what you want in the DNA, okay? And then definitely irrigation too, because you're increasing the yield by giving them more water so they have enough water to photosynthesize. And by controlling the weed, the pest, diseases, insects, okay, using insecticide, herbicides, and everything. Question 3. There was heavy rainfall on Ischia. Okay, I told you it was a very hot country. If you remember from the second page, they mentioned this part, okay, saying Ischia or Italy was a hot country. So a lot of evaporation, therefore heavy rainfalls. Rainfall is part of a water cycle. Now complete the sentences about the water cycle. Use the words from the list. You can use it once, more than once, blah, blah, blah. The process of water turning from liquid to gas is evaporation. Since this was a doubt for many, let's revise the water cycle together. Okay. Now, my loves, you got here an ocean. That is too thick. Okay, you got an ocean. You got a sun. Okay. What will happen here? Water, liquid, will rise. Okay, that's called evaporation because liquid changed to gas. L to G. Okay? Now, while it rises up, it forms a cloud. Why? Because at the atmosphere, or in the atmosphere, the temperature is cold. Okay? So it condenses. Condensation. Okay? It changes from gas to liquid. Then this cloud is full. So it cries as rain. That's called precipitation. Okay? So that's liquid. Okay? And then it falls again to the ocean. That was one water cycle. Okay, let's add a tree. You see this tree? The tree gives us, gives us a gas too. And that is by transpiration. Okay? So, you get the gas in two places from two things. One is called transpiration, and that comes from the tree or a plant or whatever. The other one is the evaporation, and that comes from oceans, from lakes, from rivers, from surface water, ground, whatever. Okay? It comes from water or any other source. Okay? I hope that is clear. And then the water goes down, okay, if we're talking about ocean, and sometime it can hit the ground, right? Let's say this part is the ground. This is the ground. Okay, so when I'm gonna make it in red so you can differentiate, okay? So when the water hits the ground or the soil, it infiltrates. Infiltration. Okay? What's the meaning of infiltration? It's the absorption of water by the ground. Okay? It's like the ground is drinking the water. That's called infiltration. And the water can just hit the surface and make its way to the ocean, and that's called runoff. Okay? Or it can get infiltrated and then make its way to the ocean or just move underground, and that's called ground flow. And the surface is runoff or surface flow. Okay? These are the important terminologies that you have to know. We got evaporation, we got condensation, precipitation, transpiration, infiltration, ground flow, and surface flow. In the last part I want to mention, it's called interception, but I'm going to draw a separate part. You know the precipitation, when you got the cloud and then precipitation, the rain, okay? Remember our tree? It got a leaf, right? So the leaf here, when the water hits it, some of the water remain on the leaf. You see, sometimes you find that there's some droplets like this on the leaf, right? This process where the water hits the leaf and it just stays on it, it's called interception. Interception comes from the word intercept, and that just gets blocked, okay? So there is an obstacle in the way. That's called interception. Like when you're going, for instance, to the mall, okay? And then you get intercepted by a policeman, where you get intercepted by a kid, okay? Someone intercepts you, like they stand in your way. Okay. The process of water turning from liquid to gas is called evaporation. From leaves, you have water transfer from leaves. Water transfers from leaves of the plant's to the atmosphere in the form of gas by transpiration. More water is transported through the plant and the leaves from the soil and then the movement of water on the land is called runoff or surface flow. Okay? Few hours after the heavy rainfall in Ischia, a large section of Mount moved towards the sea. This caused large quantities of mud and loose rocks to flow through the town of whatever. The photograph shows some of the damage caused by the landslide. Okay. 10 people were killed by the landslide and many people were injured, and drinking water was contaminated by sewage. Automatically, you have to think about the two diseases, the cholera and typhoid. These are called the waterborne disease. Okay? You got a water-bred disease, and that's malaria. Okay, so just two other impacts of the landslide. Damage of buildings. Okay, you find the buildings are damaged. Not very obvious here, but yeah, you can deduce that. Buildings are damaged. Hospitals, schools, supermarkets, whatever. Food shortage, if you want to mention supermarkets. The island has illegally constructed buildings. Large areas of land on the island have been cleared of vegetation for these buildings. Suggest why removing vegetation makes landslides more likely to happen. Vegetation, let me tell you the story behind this. When you get a tree, guys, trees are very important. Don't cut trees. Anyways, when you get the tree, okay, you get the roots binding underground. And I told you the roots are very tortuous. That means they branch a lot, okay? And they're very, very strong. So one, they hold the soil together, okay? Two, they help in infiltration, okay? Like when heavy rainfall happens, like here in this question, when I explain this part, okay? They aid in infiltration. You see this? They absorb most of the water, okay? Another one is the interception. When the leaf intercepts the water, okay? So the water don't reach the soil fast, so no landslide will happen. Interception. Okay? You also have that the trees decrease the flow of water, okay? Because if the water is here, like let's say it's flooding, another color, okay? See that this is water and it's flooding, okay? This part is flooding with water. You're gonna find an obstruction, and that obstruction is the tree. So they're going to slow you down. Exactly like when you're going to the mall and you find that policeman. You're supposed to just be there at like 4 p.m. or something, okay? But instead you get there at 4:30 because you were obstructed by that policeman, okay? Or something kept you off. That's exactly what happens. So when the water gets obstructed by the trees, they have more time to infiltrate, okay? So they are less likely to cause soil erosion or the landslide, okay? So just one reason why illegal construction makes landslides more likely to happen, other than removing vegetation. Illegal construction, they are shanty, okay? Too many houses in one area, because it's illegal, of course. So you got many houses here, and they're all made of poor materials, okay? Poor constructing materials. And there's no safety at all in the land. They don't care if that house is going to topple over the other or not. They don't care if the roads are constructed properly or not. They just want to live, okay? And the houses are made of 2 stories or 2 levels, as I just mentioned, maximum, okay? because the poor materials cannot hold more than one layer. So yeah, if you can remember something, remember the poor constructing material. Okay? Ischia is a popular tourist destination. Approximately 6 million tourists visit the island each year. Illegal construction and increased use of vehicles are negative impacts of tourism. This might be because of the visual pollution, okay? Or they might be taking extra space. And the vehicles, because of traffic. No tourist wants to go and spend their entire days in traffic. Okay, and might be because of the pollution there, because they release smoke, so it can be just air pollution. Okay, so negative impacts of tourists. So just two other negative impacts of tourists. Loss of habitat. Why? Because we have to construct more hotels, more hospitals. Okay, entertainment, somewheres like clubs, like parks, like whatever they interest the tourists, they have to make it. Okay, so they can attract more tourists because they depend on tourism for their economy. And of course the pollution, as I mentioned. And again, I mentioned that the pollution all the types of pollution will be in 1 point, because some mark schemes count them only as 1 point and some mark schemes count them as several points, okay? But I like to stay on the safe side and just count them all as only 1 point. Suggest a suitable transport policy that would reduce the impact of the tourists on the island. The policy can be ban cars, okay, and legislation. Legislation is law, okay? So they can set laws, like they can use the cars during specific hours, or they can only use public transportation if they're tourists. Ban the cars to reduce the pollution and the traffic. The landslide washed sewage into the sea. By the way, guys, E. coli is a normal bacteria present in our gut, okay? And this bacteria is dangerous once it leaves its habitat, okay? So once it leaves the intestines, it becomes dangerous. I'm just telling you this because it feels nice to feel smarter, okay? So E. coli is present in feces. They're bacteria found in sewage. They're present in feces, so of course they're going to be in the sewage. E. coli may cause infectious bacterial diseases, and that is the waterborne disease I just mentioned earlier, okay, such as cholera and typhoid. The scientist investigates the concentration of E. coli in seawater around Ischia. The table shows the information of the investigation. You got column 1 talking about the volume of water collected. The column 2 is talking about the distance from edge of land into the sea. Like you got the sea here, okay, and the distance of the land. This is the land. And you're going to see like 1 meter. And then here it's 10 meters. And then here it's 100. And then here it's 1,000. This is what they mean, okay? The far you go from the sea, the less you're going to find the E. coli, okay? Because it's a waterborne disease. Now use column 1 to identify one limitation with the investigation. And column 1 is this one. They mentioned the volume. The volume here was collected in centimeters square. You can say not enough sample. The sample is too small. Or the volume was not the same throughout the investigation. It was different. Use column 2 to identify one error in how the data is recorded. The error here was this. I told you that we should not write any units in the content of the table. And that's exactly what they did. Okay? So if we're going to maintain the meter, we have to, if we mentioned meter, we have to maintain it throughout the question. So instead of 1 kilometer here, we should write 1,000. Okay? Because we increased by 10. Use column 3 and 4 to identify one anomalous result. 3 and 4 here. As you can see, they're in the hundreds. So 32 is actually weird. Consider one safety factor to consider during this investigation. Goggles and definitely gloves. Okay, if you forgot the goggles, it's okay, but gloves, guys. You're literally touching feces and sewage. That's absolutely disgusting. Okay, so definitely gloves. And wash your hands after collection. Because hello, that's feces. Ew. The maximum safe concentration of E. coli in water is 500 arbitrary units. Use this information to write a conclusion about the investigation. The maximum safe concentration of E. coli should be 500 arbitrary units. So, further out the sea, the more we go away from the sea, the safer it is due to its lower concentration. Name one infectious disease in water contaminated with sewage, cholera, and typhoid. You don't need to know the name of the bacteria causing the disease, okay? Just know the disease. How do we make the water safe to drink? We got boiling, and the other one, which is the question, it's going to be chlorination, okay? So if the country is poor, if we're talking about an African country or something and the country is poor, so they cannot treat the sewage, they can't make sewage treatment, then we have to at least say that they need to boil and chlorinate their water. I think this is going to be our last question. The solar power is used to generate electricity on Ischia. The photograph shows solar panels with cars parked under the solar panels. This is a very smart one. So we got the parking lot and they have solar panels on top. This is actually smart because the sun is going to hit that area all the time. One, the cars are shielded from the scorching sun. And two, we're actually using that to our advantage while we're just waiting, we're generating electricity. Okay? So just one benefit of this method, we just said that. Electricity generated by solar power is stored in batteries to be used later. A report stated that more than 11 million tons of used lithium-ion batteries will have accumulated globally by 2030. The table shows the components in typical lithium-ion battery. You find carbon, iron, lithium, phosphate, plastic, and other. Suggest the best type of graph or chart to represent this data. I would definitely go for a pie chart, honestly. Okay? And since we mentioned pie chart, why not revise it? Okay, guys. When you get a pie chart, you have, first thing, to label the axes. Okay? The axes are going to be given like this. And you have to label them. You always start from 0. And that's called noon. Okay? So you start here and this is your middle. You go clockwise. You go like this. You fill like this. Do not start filling like this. No, we go the other way. You have to fill from right to left. Okay? And then you have to label from big to small. I remember it by BTS. It's either the band or then make a key. That's very important, and follow the key. So if we're talking about this one, okay, first thing we're gonna plot the other, then we're going to plot iron, then we're going to plot phosphate. After that we're gonna plot carbon. We're going to plot plastic, and lastly it's going to be lithium. Okay? Do not annotate here. Don't say other and then say here carbon. No. You made a key for this reason. You're going to make your own key. Let's say first one is going to be shaded, the other one is blank, the rest whatever. Choose your key. Whatever you want, make them. Okay? So we're going to follow the key. This one is going to be other, just like I said in the key, and then it's going to be carbon, for instance. Which was the second one? Iron, sorry. And then it was phosphate. Okay? So I'm going to do this. Okay, this is how you do it. You follow your own key. Don't say this is iron, this is phosphate, this is other. No, we do not annotate inside. Okay? Many batteries are recycled. Suggest 2 benefits of recycling batteries. No burning, no greenhouse gas, no global warming, and reduces the energy used. Suggest 2 reasons why batteries are not recycled in some locations. No awareness about recycling. It's expensive, okay? And they don't have any experience related to recycling, so they don't know what to do or how to collect or whatever. Okay, this is not the last question, but this one is the last question. Mount is an extinct volcano. The volcano last erupted in 1302. Igneous rock is formed in many parts of Ischia. Describe how igneous rocks are formed. Magma. The magma cools. It solidifies into crystals. Magma is molten rock underground. Okay, this is a volcano. When it erupts, okay, and it hits the surface, it becomes lava. Don't get confused between these mnemonics or these terminologies, They're very important. Okay? Name 1 igneous rock. You got basalt or granite. Some rocks are extracted from subsurface mines, the mines that are underground. Sub is under. Okay? State 3 factors that affect the decision of extracting rocks. The geology, their place. Okay, is the place accessible or not? Is it in the middle of nowhere? Or is it closer to the city? The environment. Are we gonna need to deforestate a lot? Or is it already a desert? Okay. The demand and supply. Is it in demand? Are we gonna use it a lot in construction or whatever? Or not? The coast. The coast goes both ways. The coast for extracting, which is the main part. And the cost is the profit, okay? Whether they're gonna get profit from extracting or not. And lastly, and most important one, is the license. Before mining, they have to get the license from the government, that they get the okay to go for it, okay? To go mine. Suggest 1 reason why subsurface mining is more dangerous than the surface mining. I told you it's underground. It's sub. Okay? Subsurface. Surface and sub means under. So subsurface, it's under surface of the ground. Okay? We dig horizontal tunnels and collapse can happen. This can collapse. Okay? Another one, if they use explosives or something, they can all explode literally. Respiratory diseases or suffocation, because they keep on digging and the dust can cause lung irritation or irritation to literally anyone. The dust causes irritation to anyone, but it will be more severe if someone of the workers got asthma or something. So it's just dangerous and, catastrophic. Anyways, we can mention explosion, collapse, and flooding. If they got water source broke somewhere or a natural hazard happen, that place will get flooded. Describe the social benefits of rock extraction, job opportunities, and definitely income, the profit, and improved infrastructure and facilities. A lot of you might not get this point, so let me explain it. When we say improved infrastructure and facilities, we mean that this area where they're going to mine is literally a desert or something, okay? So they need to get, this is the city, so they need to get from the city to the mining site. In order to reach there, they will have to construct roads, okay? And they have to set lights over here so that they can illuminate their path. So that's going to improve the infrastructure, okay? The photograph shows a landscape damaged by the rock extraction. This was the mine, obviously. State 2 negative impact of rock extraction shown in the photograph. You're going to find no trees here, okay? Since we mentioned no trees, we have to say deforestation or loss of habitat. And when we mention loss of habitat, you have to mention loss of biodiversity. Okay? Next, we get visual pollution because you damage the scenery. Next, we got landscapes damaged by rock extraction can be restored by bioremediation. Describe what is bioremediation. It's fixing the land using microorganisms where they can break down, the toxins and the pollutants from the explosives used. Explain why crops grow well on slopes because of increased nutrients. Flooding because of irrigation, so this is more irrigation or water. The island experiences earthquakes. Describe what is meant by the Richter scale. That is the log scale or the scale that measures the earthquake or the seismic waves. Okay, the key word here was the log scale. You have to know this. You have to learn this. The Richter scale is a log scale that measures the magnitude of the earthquake. Or if you forgot this part, you can say seismic waves underground. Last question, finally. A disaster plan is a strategy for reducing the impact of an earthquake. State what should be included in a disaster plan and give 4 answers. When we talk about any disaster plan, you need to evacuate people, you need emergency aid, and definitely food. These are the 3 main things you have to learn by heart, okay? Food and water, they come together. So they're mainly 3, but they're counted as 4, okay? Then you can mention the warnings, the communication, better communication so that they can have like connection to contact their families and friends. Shelters, drills, teaching them to raise awareness and educate them on how to evacuate and what to do in case something like this happens. Bottled water to prevent getting contaminated by, getting the diseases from contaminated water. And medical facilities. Okay, emergency aid could be received from international aid. Okay, so they just ask for help from other countries. That was it for today's video. I hope it was beneficial and I hope I revised good topics in between and answered some of your doubts. If you have any doubts, please do not hesitate to reach out and contact me on my social medias. Links will be in the description, or you can just simply write them in the comments. I do check everything, so I will definitely reach out. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and let me know what you think about this video, or if you have any recommendation, let me know. I also give revision courses if you guys are interested in a revision course. It will be a condensed course where I give you everything and we solve tons of papers so you can be well prepared for the exam. It's my revision in the courses, in my revision course is way more thorough, and the solving is way more thorough than this one. This is just a sneak peek. So if you're interested, contact me on WhatsApp. You're gonna find the number in the description below. Other than that, please stay safe, study hard, and see you on the next one. Bye bye.